the screen. Yeah, able to see my screen? You able to see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, chalo. Okay, let me connect to the server. Host name, SSH, authentication, browse. Okay. Okay, so last session we have seen about the find and grep. So how many ways we can use the find grep command. Okay, so today we are going to see about the some important commands like awk, scd, cut. Okay, so these commands will say it how it will works. Okay, so when it comes to the awk, scd, cut, all the things will do the same activity. Okay, so if you want to use filter your data based upon some symbols. Okay, common things which are there in the particular data. From that data, if you want to have to filter your data from it. Okay, for example, you can see. So if you go for the root, my screen is visible, right? Everybody can see it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Visible.
Yeah, okay. So when you see here, so when you see the cat ECG password, so this file will give the list of all the users, which contains the user ID, group ID, username, everything we can see. Okay, so but here, if you want to do the filter based upon the common symbols, if you see, there is a common thing is colon. Okay, so this is the common thing we can have it. Okay. We have a common thing called common thing is here we have the common thing, we have the colon symbol is there. So from this symbol, we need to get some data here. So, okay. So for that one, what we can do? So we can apply cat, same thing, etc, password, filter, awk, -f filter. So which filter you want to apply it? So what is a common thing is the filter, that filter we can take it. Colon is the filter. Okay, so from that, which one you want to print it? Print, so dollar symbol. Which field you want to print? So based upon the, if you're cutting, if you're putting the filter here, so this is the first value. After filter, this second value, this is third value, this is fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, like that. So what is the common thing is there? So it will be dividing the whole thing into the values. So which one you want to print things? So you can get like this. Okay, so I want to print first value. Okay, so let us see whether we can Okay. So print $1 means dollar symbol is nothing but first value. So if you want to print the second value, we can print the second value like that. So if you want to get particular data from the entire thing, entire file, entire data, anything you type it. So I want to put a filter for this based upon the common things. It may be a space, it may be a special symbol, anything. So which is the common thing in each line, it will sort out. So in my common thing is colon is there. So I placed colon. So this is the first value. So if you want to get the user ID of all the things, that is the user ID. You can go with third. So I want to get the user ID of my each and everything. So I can get the print value of the first value, second one. So AWK is one of the keyword mainly used for the filtering purpose. So filtering keyword, we need to pass it, which is the common filter, which is available in each and every line. So that filter value, we can pass it and we should specify in the print value. So if I want to print both the values, first and third, we can go with $1, $3. Okay. If you want to give the $1 is the this thing, $3 is this. Okay. So like that, if you want to filter any type of keyword, you can take it, any type of data, you can take it. So based upon the data, we can get it. Okay. So for example, so if you see df minus h, we'll get the file system. Okay. So this is the first line, this is second line. Okay. This 0, 1. Okay. So like that. So if I want to print head, it is nothing but top. I want to get the first value. If you want to get the second line. Okay. So in this one, if you want to apply the filters. So already I got second line. So in this second line, I want to get the filters. I want to get the specific like this. So this is one space, second space, third space, fourth space, like that it will be calculated. So if you want to apply the based upon the space also from the output, so we can apply the n outputs, we can filter. So common thing is I want to apply the space. Okay. So common thing is the space between the all the things. So next, the single quotes, I want to go with print $, which value you want it. So this will be considered as a first value. So after the space, second value, third value, like that. How much space is there? We will not consider as a one space. How many spaces are only there? So we are considering only single space here. So this value, if you want to get it, either it may be 9th value, 10th value, it will be. So here 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, like that. It's will like that. Okay. So if you want to get the first value, we can easily get it. So that one we can put in. Okay, you can see. Okay, so two lines are there. Two lines. The first line and second line. In each file line, we can get the filter value. So if you want to get this value, so it may be how many spaces we need to count it. So we can try with either 10th value. Nothing is there. We can check with the 11th value. It's also not there. Nothing. Okay. So we can get the information like this. So you can go with anything. So if config is there. Okay. So this one also it contains, this is one line. This is second line. If you want to filter, if you want to get the particular data, you can get the data from it. You can take anything. So you can apply the heading, tailing, anything you can take it. Just if you want to filter the data based upon it. So we can go with filtering the data. Understood? So you can take host name also. or uname minus a. So if you take the uname minus a also, so we are getting the multiple information. So if I want to get only the kernel information, okay, so only this information, or I want to get only this information. So you can apply the filter here. So which data you want to require. So we can apply AWK. So hyphen filter with single quotes. Common thing is the space. So which one you want to print it? So print dollar. So this is the first value. So this is the second value. This is the third value. So this is the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, like that. So if you want to print this one, so this should be third one. So we can print third. So we can go with open bracket and close the bracket. Okay, so nth value we got it. So 1, 2, 3. Where is n? Okay. Okay. So space, we need to give the space. We got the third value. Okay. So this is very important. What is the common symbol which is available in the entire output? From this output, if you want to get the filtering data, so we can get the filtering data by using the same. Okay. Same command we can apply by using the cut command also. Okay. So we can use the cut also. Hyphen delimiter. Here, hyphen F, same thing. We can give the space. So here, F. So first field or second field, third field, like that, we can select it. We can go with field number. Same thing, both the commands will do the same thing only. So here the syntax is a little bit different. So AWK hyphen filter, filter name, print, we need to use it. Which data you want it, that data we can get it. Same thing, cut also, hyphen delimiter, delimiter is space. So what is the output you want it? This is the first field, second one, third one. Okay. Okay. So based upon the output, you want to filter this one. So now this based upon this output, if you want to apply one more filter, you can apply the n number of filters we can apply based upon the data. So now I have used the cut command to get the data. I got this data. So what is the common thing is? Common thing is dot is there. So I can use cut again, one more cut, hyphen d delimiter, single bracket, dot is the common thing. Field number, which one you want it? This is the first value, will get it. Second value, third value. This is the third value. So if you want to get the third value or second value, we can apply the field number too. Okay, so we can apply a number of filters. Instead of cut also, we can go with AWK also. AWK hyphen F filter. So filter is same thing. So instead of F2, we can have to go to $2. So here print, open bracket and close the bracket, single quote, single quote. Okay, got it? So this is the way we can apply the cut and filter. So we can go with any kind of a data if you have any information. So if you want to filter n number of times, so we can apply n number of AWK commands. So here cut AWK, or we can go with same command with AWK also. Both AWKs we can go it, either cut we can go it, anything is fine. So $3, we can apply the print space, open bracket and close the bracket, single quote. That's it. So cut, instead of cut, I can go the filtering it. Hyphen filter. AWK. So AWK hyphen filter space. I want to print third one. From this third value, I want to print again second value. Okay, so either we can go with AWK command. So they may ask any type of interview question in the real-time scenario. So you need to do the slicing mechanisms from the filter data. We can apply any kind of a data based upon your requirement. Okay, so AWK cut anything, any data it may be. Don't get panic. Try to focus on your logical part. It may be any data, anything. Okay, it may be any symbol. So if somebody asked about the filtering information, then we can go with this thing. Okay, so understood, guys? AWK catch, how we can implement it. Got it? So same thing. So if we have something like a one more command, we can see it. So if you are able to understand the concept AWK cut, we can go with the next topic. Able to understand, guys? Little bit tricky, but you need to focus on this. Okay, you can take any kind of a data. Just we are dividing this whole data with the help of the filtering concepts, delimiters or filters. Okay, so cut R we can go with, or either we can go with AWK. Any data we can go with. Okay. So if you are able to understand this concept, we'll move to the next topic. Okay, so next thing is we have one more thing is SCD. Okay, SCD is used for search and replace. So if somebody asks us to search for the particular keyword, and if you want to replace for the particular, so SCD will be used for search and replace. Same thing, you can take any data. So something like VI. So we are creating one file, employee data. So hello, insert. So welcome to some DevOps class, testing environment, new to DevOps class. Okay, so some content is there. So if you want to replace some keyword with entire string. Okay, so when you do the cat of employee to text anything, so we have some content is there. So somebody has replaced, want to do the IP address replace, or somebody want to do the text replace. If you want to do it, if you want to get the output from that one, so what we can do, we cannot modify the existing file, but we can get the output for that file. For example, when you cat the employee.txt, so we can use SCD. Search for the string, which string you want to search it. So where I want to replace with PHP entire G. So G is for globally. Okay, so you can go with pass the argument file name employee.txt. Okay, so that has to be put in the single quotes. Okay, so now you can see wherever the DevOps keyword is there, so it will be replaced with PHP. So, but when you cat the employee.txt file, it will be remain same only. Just we are searching the string, we are replacing string. What is the output we are getting it? So just we are displaying the output, but we are not updating this file. Just we are getting the output if you do the search and replace. So if you want to do those kind of activities, what we can do? So we can save this content into the new file. What is the output we are getting? So that file we can maintain here. So when you do the cat of that file, you'll get the output. Okay, so got it? Understood, guys? Concept
Yes,
of,
sir.
okay. So this is very important, guys. Like they may ask any type of a question in the interview perspective. So just we need to focus on the logical part. So they may ask anything. Okay, so search and replacing. Okay, so they may ask about the filtering data. I want to get this kind of a data. Okay, so all these things we can get it by using the advanced techniques like filtering the data. Okay, so that is very important in the Linux part. Okay, so that's the ends of our Linux session, guys. So most of the questions will be covered in our perspective only. So some of the interview questions like files, directory, change ownership, change permissions. Okay, so file systems information, CPU, memory, storage, networking, these concepts only they will ask in the interview questions. So any doubts, any questions, guys, in the Linux part while you practicing or anything? So if you get any doubts, you can ask me.
So, can you provide the syntax command in some PDF form so we can practice later, or it will be beneficial for the interview also?
Okay. So
Yeah,
okay, you want the
for the
documentation?
yeah, especially for the commands you have covered so far till now.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay. We
because
will share.
whenever we practice, like you have said, like in your history you will find all the commands, but sometimes we are always not right, some mistakes and they happen.
Yeah, you can take this
So
one and still you can copy this thing, right?
yeah, so if it's possible, just provide your command notes.
Okay, okay, fair.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay, okay. So next thing is we are going to, these are the Linux things. So mainly focus on the file systems, guys. Okay, so file systems and next thing is process related, head and tail. Okay, so next this searching mechanisms, AWK. So grep, find, SED. Okay, so cut. So any command they can ask you. Okay, so main thing these things we need to focus on it. File systems, change ownership, change mode, SSH, SCP, how we are doing the SSH, STP, all the things we need to provide. Okay, so these are the very important. What is meant by SSH, what is meant by SCP. Okay, so these things only they will ask in interview perspective. And one more thing is CPU, memory. Okay, so top load processes which are running, top processes which are consuming more. Okay, so those information they will ask it. Okay, so next thing is we are going to start about one of the scripting language. So the scripting language is nothing but, so there are many scripts are available. So if you go for the Windows scripting, we are going to call it as a PowerShell. So if you are writing any script in the Windows, so that script we are going to call it as a PowerShell scripting. Okay, so if the application deployment happens in the what happened?
Hello. Hello.
Able
So
to see
you're
this?
not. So you're not audible right now.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, 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 guys. Okay. Okay, so when you are working with a Windows machine, okay, so our application deployment happens in the Windows environment operating system. So PowerShell classic is used. And if you are working in the Linux machines, okay, it should be the shell scripting. Somebody may call the bash scripting. Both are same. Don't worry about the scripting part. So Linux environment, they are going to call it the shell scripting or bash scripting. And if you go for the, so something like if you are working on a gaming application, something, they will ask about your, do you know Python scripting? Okay, so Java scripting. So why we are, these scripts are called as a scripting languages is nothing but, so there is a two sides of scriptings are there. So one is client versus server. Client is nothing but, so it comes with your OS installation. Suppose you have set up your Linux environment, so no need to install separately shell scripting. Okay, so it comes defaultly with your OS. So those type of scripting languages, we are going to call it as a client-side scripting languages. Server-side scripting languages are nothing but we should manually install that scripting language. Okay, so JavaScript, this PowerShell, shell scripting, this will comes under the client-side scripting language. So when you install Windows, PowerShell defaultly comes. If you are installing the Linux, shell scripting defaultly will comes. Okay, so in the real-time scenario, in the interview perspective, they will ask, so which type of scripting language do you know? So they will ask about, do you know PowerShell, shell scripting, or Python scripting? Okay, so these scripting languages, three scripting languages, they will ask separately. So if you tell any one of them is fine, because if one person knows how to work with one scripting, then he can easily do other scriptings also. Okay, so in this training, most of our work will be there in the Linux servers only. So that's the reason shell scripting. So this is not mandatory to learn. So this is, we can ignore it. So if you have a basic knowledge also fine. Basic syntaxes is fine. So if you don't know also, they will not bother. So they will ask which type of scripting language do you know? You can tell I know about the shell scripting, or do you know bash scripting means yes, I know the bash scripting. Okay, so everything will comes with the Linux only. So this machine only. So already it's a Linux machine. Okay, so this is a Linux machine. So here, if you want to work with the shell scripting, so the scripting file should be, extension should be .sh. So if you are working with shell scripting, bash scripting, so they are going to check with, if you are having any file with extension .sh, it is a scripting file. So if you have a Java file means it is a Java. It is a PHP means PHP. So it is a JavaScript means JS. Okay, so like that it will be there. So if you are working with a Python, so it should be .py. So based upon the programming languages or scripting languages, so that the file extension should be different. Okay, so in our case, our scripting language is shell scripting, then we will go with .sh. So if anybody is working on Java, so they will go with .java. If it's any person is working in the PHP domain, the extension of the file should be .php. So if you're working with Java scripting language, the file is JS. So if anybody is working on the Python scripting languages, so the extension of the file should be .py. If anybody sees about the .py file means, so we can consider as a, it's a Python script they have written. Okay, so we can go with anything. Now you can see any type of extensions. Okay, so now I'm going to create one directory called scripts. Okay, shell scripts. ls cd shell scripts. Okay, so I'm in the shell scripts language. Now I'm going to create one file. Okay, so that is first.sh. Okay, so if you want to write any script in the shell scripting, so what is meant by scripting? So scripting is nothing but sequence of Linux commands only, but what are the work you are doing daily, regularly based? Regularly based work you are doing, multiple Linux commands you are implementing. So whatever the work you are doing regularly, instead of writing the command multiple times, we can organize them into a file. Okay, so no need to write the commands every time continuously. So we can write those commands in a script file. And if you want to do any logical part like condition checkings, loopings, Okay, exists or not. Okay, so this scripting will be supported. So if the file exists, you want to create the file. If file does not exist, you don't want to create the file. Somebody want to create a new file. So two persons at a time want to create a file. So if already the file name is already created, then no use of creating the same file, right? So in that cases, we need to do the condition checking. So whether the file exists or not, we'll check first. If the file doesn't exist, we will tell that user file already not there, you can create the file. If the file already exists, we can tell that user the file is already existed, you can create a new file other with other name. So like that things, if you want to perform it, so we can go with conditional checkings, loopings, okay, test it exists or not, okay. So these type of things we can check in the scripting. So logical part, we can write it, and the daily routine work you are going to do it. All the things we can make it as a scripting. Okay, instead of writing the same command multiple times daily things. So if you want to do the same kind of activity, no need to write the 10 commands, 15 commands. So we will put the 15 commands in a file, just will run the file. So that is called as a scripting. To make our work easier, by using this Linux commands, we will write the scripting part. Okay, so now in order to write the scripting, okay, so I have opened the first file va.txt. So the first line should be always bin bash. Okay, so how we have to understand the coding part of the any programming language. So there we are going to call it as a compiler. So compiler will help us to compile your code. For Java, JDK, JRE, how we are going to install it to understand the Java coding. So they are maintaining the compilers. For same thing, in order to write your logic in the scripting, so the script language scripting which is written in the file, it has to be understand, and it has to be compile and read it and give the output for us. So those things we are going to do that. The compiler will be available at the bin bash folder. So every scripting languages, you can see bin bash, or sometimes you can go with this. Okay, so situations you can go with any. Okay, so if you want to print any line, echo statement we will use it. Echo keyword we will use it to print some output to the end user. Okay, so something like welcome to scripting. This message I want to display to the end user. Save the file :wq. So if you want to execute the script, sh scripting. So one more way we can execute the file, / like this. So in order to execute this file, so we should have the proper permissions, then only we can execute this method. Okay, so we'll get is a directory. So change mode 777. So first.sh will give it. Okay, so either we can execute like this, either we can go with like this. Okay, so this is the first file we have written. Right. So what are the Linux commands you are writing daily? So we can organize the Linux commands into the script file. Okay, so cat, if you do the file, we can get it. So next thing is, if you want to define any variables, name equal to DevOps. Okay, so this is the key and this is the value. So I want to define a variable and I want to assign a value to it. So if you want to access this value, echo, the name is, we should append $ symbol. $ and name of the keyword. That's it. Okay, so name, save the file, sh. Okay, got it. So if you see the logical part, nothing we have done. So if you want to define any variables, we need to define with a keyword name. Okay, so we can define the name. This one. So this looks good. So if you want to override the value, what will happen? So same name is there. So I want to define the name equal to testing, which will be printed. Okay. So name is the same keyword. One is DevOps, another one is testing. So if I use the echo, the name is, we have defined it. So if you save the file, sh, okay. So always it will be override with the next value. So if the same keyword will be used it, so it will be, so name is DevOps is there. So if we have, so this is the name of this one is name. So if the key is the same name, so if it is having DevOps first, so if I'm giving the same name, it will override with that value. That's why always this one. So if you want to print both the things, what we can do? Clear the screen. Okay. So here we can have one more statement. Insert echo before updating the name is $name. Okay. So this is, that's it. So if you want to get the both the names, same keyword. Okay, before updating the name is DevOps. The name after updating is okay. So this is the way we can do it. If you write overriding, we can do it. Okay. So if you want to define the integers also, we can define it. Okay. So based upon the value, here we don't have any data types or anything. Like integer a equal to 10, decimal b equal to 20.0. Okay, string a equal to name. So those kind of data types will not be there. So based upon the value assigning, it will consider as a whether it is a string or integer. Okay. So if you want to print multiple values, just $. So we can print n number of values by appending the dollar symbol. You can define n number of variables. Those variables we can access via dollar symbol. sh first dot sh. Okay. So the a value I have defined as 10. So this is fine. Now I don't want to hard code it. This is hard coded values. I don't want to hard code it. Okay. So whenever log into the any Flipkart application based upon username, so welcome, particular name, particular welcome. So dynamically we are updating the name. So I want to get the dynamic information. Okay. Okay. So I don't want to hard code the values. I want to get the input from the user itself. So based upon the user only, I want to take it. So if you want to get those kind of activities, what we can do? Echo. So what is your name? I'm putting one echo message. So once the person has entered any data, I want to get the content. So we need to use the keyword called read keyword. So read keyword will help us to whatever the input is, information is providing by the user. So that is information we can read in one variable. Okay. So that variable we can call it as a name. Okay. So we can put anything, favorite name like that. Okay. So echo again one time. Okay. So the login name is $favorite. That's it. So instead of hard coding, I don't want to hard code the values. So what is any person is entering the name, I want to capture the name by using the read keyword. So until the user has been prompted or entered some information, it will not go to the next step. Okay. So in that cases, what I can go with read keyword. Okay, so escape colon W. SH first dot SH. So what is your name? So my name is something Rajesh. So now I will go with another name, Kiran. Like that. So if you want to get the dynamic information from the user interpreted, like the user has to provide the dynamic values if we are expecting, not with the hard coded values. So then we can go with okay. So in this way, we can define it. Now, this is the one way we'll get the input from the parameters. Okay, so login name is we have to get the input from by using the read keyword. Okay, so next thing is I don't want to get the these variables we are going to call it as a runtime variables. Okay, so these are the local variables which are defined inside the script. So if you are getting the variables during the running the script, those variables we are going to call as a runtime scripts. Okay, so if you want to get a parameterized variables. Okay, suppose I'm executing one script. I want to pass some parameters to my script, like hello, testing, file1 dot XLS. So I want to pass parameters to my file. So I want to capture the parameters to my file. So if you want to do those kind of things, how can we do that one? Okay, so we can go with insert echo. The file name is so if you are putting $0, so this will give the whatever the script file name you are executing it. So that script file name will get it. For example, my script file name is first.sh. So what is the script name is there? I want to read the file name in my script. So in that case, we can go with that. Okay, so $0 will give the file name. So if you pass the first argument, if you want to capture, we need to pass with 1. If you want to capture the second argument, we can go with 2. So if you want to capture the third arguments, we can go with 3. Like that, we can define it. Okay, so now something like positional arguments dot sh. Any name you can take it, hash exclamatory bin bash. Okay, so I want to get the file name is our script file is $0. Escape W. Okay, so clear cast. Okay, cat when you do it. So bin bash we are using. So if you want to capture this script name, whichever the script name is there, we can get it by using the $0. Okay, executing part sh. Okay, so if any argument is passed, something like DevOps is the argument is passed. This argument value, if you want to capture, so this is called as a first argument. So if you are passing any argument, second argument, so this argument we are going to call it as a second argument. Okay, so if you want to capture those kind of things, echo the first arg is $1. Echo the second argument is $2. Okay, so sh. Now I'm passing DevOps. I'm passing testing. Hello. N number of arguments we can pass it. Okay, so this is a script name $0. What is the first argument we are passing? The first argument. Second argument we are passing. Third argument we are not capturing it, but still we are passing it we are not capturing that value. So if you see the cat of that, so $0 is the first argument. $1 is the script file name. This is the first argument. So this is the second argument. Like that, we can do the activities. Got it? Able to understand, guys? So now how many arguments I will pass it, I don't know. Okay, I may pass 2 arguments, I can pass 3 arguments, I can pass 4 arguments. Okay, so in order to get those kind of things, okay, sorry. There is the count of arguments is $hash. So how many arguments, if you want to get the count of number of arguments, so we can go with $hash. So if you want to get each and every argument, we can go with loops. For loop, syntax is do done. Okay, so we can capture any value by using the $. So $* will include tells that, so it may be $0, $1, $2, $3, any number of arguments you can pass it. All the arguments we can capture by using the $. So we can run the loop, for loop. So for loop syntax is for do then. Okay, so in that each value, if we want to capture it, so we can give any name like name or value, anything we can do it. So for do done, echo $value. Okay, so instead of capturing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, may pass 5 arguments, they may pass 6 arguments, 10 arguments, n number of arguments, they can pass it. So in that cases, what we can do, we cannot go with specific value. The user may pass n number of arguments. So we can go with $ for loop in, for value in $. We can go it. So if you want to get the number of arguments count, we can go with $. Okay, so let us see the example so that you can easily understand the example. That's good. Okay, so now same example, you can take it. 3 arguments we are passing. Okay, so the count of arguments is 3. Okay, so when you do the, if you want to add any things, what we can do, insert the arc okay. So now just we see the positional arguments here. So we are not worrying about the first and 2. So if you to get the count of arguments, how many arguments? 1, 2, 3 arguments you pass. So we should get count should be 3 $hash. So how many arguments you are passing? That all arguments we can capture by using the $. And for loop we are running. So the for loop syntax is for do done. In the do done, we can run the logic. So each value we are looping it, that value we are capturing here. So this value we can access by using the $ symbol. Okay, so same thing we can pass a number of things. So instead of DevOps testing hello, what I can do? Main 100. Okay, 1000. Okay, so PHP, Java, .NET. Okay, so a number of things we can pass it here. So these many arguments I'm passing. So how much should I get the count? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 arguments we get it. Okay, you can see the number of arguments count is 7. So each time how many arguments you pass it, each argument we can capture it. So if you want to perform any Linux commands in this one, we can perform anything in the do and logic based upon the value. We can write any type of logic. Okay. So these type of arguments we are going to call it as a positional arguments. Okay. So how many arguments we are passing to the script? So if you want to get the script name, we need to get the $0. So if you want to capture all the values, we need to go with $. Okay. So cat. Okay. So in this way, we can capture the variables like local variables, hard-coded variables, dynamic variables while running the script if you want to require any variables, or you can pass as arguments as a variables to the script. These many ways we can pass it and we can capture all the things through the script. Okay. So tomorrow we will see some more examples on the scripting. If you have any doubts, questions, you can ask me. Any doubts, any questions, guys? Okay. So tomorrow we'll catch up with some more examples. Okay. Chalo. Bye.